Hey, it's me, GV, and welcome to GV Guides. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the third level in Chapter 2. This is Behind Bars. This one was tough. A lot of information going on here. This one was very, very tricky. But basically, there's been a prison escape, and we need to figure out, like, who's who and what's what and all that sort of stuff. So, if we take a look at the cells puzzle here, we have got the Mystery Man in number 1. And that becomes pretty clear because there's nobody referred to as, like, Arthur Blythe throughout the course of the level. And, yeah, he's obviously got, like, all the crazy stuff in his cell, which people are trying to help him escape and things like that. So you can kind of figure out the Mystery Man is in the first cell. And then, yeah, we got this guy in the next one, mainly because the big hint is if we take a look at... if we go into his cell, if it lets me... Yeah, if we look at this, you can see it's got hash marks for 6. And then if we go out into the yard and if we talk to him, he says just 1 more year. And then that ties into this because if we take a look at this like list of convicts, this guy has kidnapping for 7 years. So we can kind of figure out, okay, this guy is Jimmy. He has 1 more year because he has 7 years. And then that cell is about to have 7 hash marks. So we know that that's that guy. And then the next cell is this guy, who is Jason, because basically I think there's a bunch of gambling references and stuff, like how does he win all the things that, you know, how does he win all the games in poker and all that stuff. And if we take a look at his little secret thing, he's got marked cards and he's got cigars because he wants tobacco for the games. Maybe. They're like pre-rolled cigars, so I don't know. But he likes tobacco is the point. And then, yeah, he also watches, there might be a hint somewhere, because I didn't really figure this out, but there might be a hint that he watches soap operas, because it's kind of circled here, and there's multiple references to somebody watching soap operas, and maybe even these colored squares relate to it, which I didn't actually ever figure out if that's actually a part of it, but yeah, basically he's the gambling guy. So he goes there. And then I think you find out these other 2 guys through the blackboard because by process of elimination, whatever, you can figure out it's Utley and Pakenham because Utley is referred to by the cop outside. This guy says, not so tough now, Utley. And then he goes, yeah, try calling me that without a gun in your hand. So we can kind of figure out all that through that. And then names is very similar as well. This guy, the main cop, is referred to by Percy because he says Mr. Kendall, and in his notes I believe he says his superior's Patrick, so we know it's Patrick Kendall. Then in his notes he's writing to his loved one and he says signed Percy, so we know it's Percy. Then somebody refers to one of the guards delivering something and they say like, oh, can Sainsbury be bought? I mean, can we buy this guard to have him do stuff? So we know that that's Percy Sainsbury. We know this guy's Jimmy from the list with the kidnapping, and then I think we know his name is Beswick through the blackboard listing the cellmates. We know this guy is Robert through the list of the convicts as well. I think this was the only thing I never figured out. Pakenham. I did this by process of elimination, but I don't know if they ever referred to this guy as Pakenham, so that was really weird. It might be the only way to know is just that, yeah, he's the only guy remaining that you don't know, the name of. Then we have Jason Kempton, again from the list of convicts, and I think Jimmy's diary refers to Kempton as being the gambler guy. Then we have Daniel Utley, he's referred to by the cop, and then also, yeah, the list of convicts, we get his first name, I think. And then Jeremy Smith, we know from this piece of graffiti, it says Jeremy's got a big honker, because if we take a look at Jeremy's face, he's got a huge red nose, and then also he's referred to as well by Percy's diary, I believe, as Mr. Smith, or actually Percy's talking to Patrick, and he says Mr. Smith, so we know the only other cop is Smith. And then finally, Henry Wakefield is easy because he's just got a visitor pass that says Henry Wakefield. So that's all of the names. Then as far as the message, this was pretty fun. Yeah, basically all you have to know is that if we go over here, in the note that is sent to the guy that escaped prison, he basically provides a date. So then if we, run through that date through these numbers here and then correlate the numbers to the different colors down here, you kind of get, okay, so the date is February 80, well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, February 8th, right, 1973. So we get that date, and then that correlates eventually to inside flower, book, spine, equals saw. Because if, yeah, it's like all the stuff down here. So then if we take a look, yeah, he gave him the saw in the spine of this book. And then finally, the big ol' events is Arthur Blythe, who's the only name that's not used in the blackboard, so we know that that's the guy who escaped, who was in prison for murder, which we got from, like, the list of convicts, got out of his cell through a window using a saw blade that he got from Stephen Aria. And this is the guy that sent him a note, and we can see if we go into the yard, the window is busted through. So he cut out the window. He entered the yard via drain pipe because, yeah, he climbed down this drain pipe. And then he breached the fence using wire cutters, which he got from Percy Sainsbury because Percy, the cop, was like, oh, this guy wants to learn art. That's cool. I'll give him wire cutters. And then he used the wire cutters to cut out of the gate here. Finally, he climbed over the wall by attaching sheets, which he got from Jimmy Beswick because this guy here... basically, yeah, he got a note that said, like, hey, I'm going to need something from your job. And if we look in Jimmy's cell, he's got the sheets. So we know Arthur got this guy to give him some sheets. And then he attached them to the bars from his window, which really threw me off because I thought this was tied to the sculpture that he was making. But no. He took the bars from his window, he crossed them together, he tied the sheets, and then he, like, threw it over, I guess, as a grappling hook, and then climbed out. So, yeah, that was difficult because, yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on there. So there's all of the answers, ladies and gentlemen. This one was fun, but very tricky. I hope this guide helped. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next guide. Bye-bye.